Hey guys, Josiah here from Swimdicators, ThinkOrSwim.net. Wanted to go over a new indicator we've just finished programming and released on the site in the past week here. We've been a little bit inactive recently because of I've been on a out of country trip with my family. We took a vacation over spring break the last couple of weeks here. But got back in town, got caught up on work, and started working on some new projects here. And so I wanted to go over this one real quick with you. So this is a multiple time frame stochastics indicator. And I had the opportunity to work on this with a client of mine that trades stochastics and wanted to be able to see higher time frame trends on lower time frame charts. And so I was able to put this together for him. And so what we have here is, on the bottom we have a weekly stochastic indicator. It looks blocky because this is a daily chart up here. And it only updates the value at the close of the week. So every 5 daily bars, it's creating a new value for the weekly stochastic. So that's the reason it looks a little odd. It's actually calculating this on a weekly basis, and we could change this in the settings. We could change this to a monthly, and it would look even blockier here. So that you can see this is a monthly stochastic trend now instead of the weekly. And so let me switch that back here. So here we have a daily chart and a weekly stochastic indicator set up. I also have the upper study here set to paint the bars according to whether there's a crossover here. So whenever there's a bullish crossover where the K line, percent K, crosses over the percent D, the yellow line, it switches to painting the price bars green, and whenever the red line crosses over the yellow line downward, then it switches to painting the bars red. So it makes it really easy to see, bullish conditions, bearish conditions, and so forth. So in effect, you don't even need to keep this indicator down here if you don't want it. You can just keep the paint bars up there, and you know exactly what's going on down here. However, you might want to keep it if you want to keep an eye on where it is, where the stochastic is relative to overbought and oversold levels and so forth. So that's what we have here. It's a multiple time frame indicator. You can set it to whatever time frame you want that ThinkOrSwim supports. Like I showed you, you can switch it to monthly, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, daily, hourly, whatever time frame you want, and you can calculate it based on that. But it has to be equal to or larger than the time frame you're looking at on the main chart. Then you can set all the stochastic settings here for the D period, the K period, slowing, average, and the overbought and oversold levels. You can change all the colors for all the plots and line styles and all of that. You can change the graph to dashed or solid or whatever you want there. You can hide or show different plots. The lines, you can hide those lines if you don't want them. You can hide the percent D line if you want to, or whatever you want to do there. So all that is fully customizable. The same settings should apply to the upper chart because we have essentially the same indicator running on the upper chart, but the only plot here is just that it's changing the bar colors. So you can set all that the same way for the upper study. Then we have, and like I was saying, on as far as the time frames that you can choose. So I'm on a daily right now, a daily chart, and I am showing a weekly stochastic. But you could just as easily switch to, say, a 5-minute here and change these settings to reflect, say, maybe hourly stochastic setups. So let me switch these to hourly just to give a quick demonstration of that. I haven't looked at this and what it would look like or anything, but yeah, so that shows you hourly stochastics down here with 5-minute bars showing you what the hourly chart is telling you to do on the lower time frame chart. So that informs your lower time frame intraday trades based on a higher time frame trend, and so that's a pretty ideal way to trade in a lot of situations. So now so that's the chart studies, the chart indicators. Included with this package, I've also created a set of scans that will find these find stochastic setups based on whatever criteria you provide here. So by default, like the chart setups, I had it set by default to weekly. So it's looking at weekly stochastics that you might use on a daily chart or whatever. And you can change all of the settings here for this as well. But essentially, you're looking for multiple time frame stochastic, a situation where the %K is crossing above the oversold level. So maybe you've got a stochastic situation where stochastic is down at the bottom of the chart, like this, and it's starting to curve back up, and it's crossing above the oversold line. And I also have a scan where it's above the overbought line and it's starting to cross down below the overbought line to create a sort of bearish condition. So that's what these scans look for. I have two different scans, one that looks for the bullish setups and one that looks for the bearish setups. You can customize all the settings in here. You can say the K line, the D line, whichever one you want to cross over that, the overbought or oversold level. By default, it's set to the K line. You can set the time frame here, just like in the normal indicator. Set all the indicator settings here. They come by default to these settings. All the indicators match these settings by default, but can be easily changed and saved under whatever settings you prefer. This one is crossing above the oversold line. So it's looking for the %K line to cross above the oversold line. And you can set the oversold line right here to be 30 or 20 or whatever oversold line you prefer to use. You can also set it to be within a certain number of bars. So if you want to cross over, you want to find stocks that have a crossover within the last 5 bars or the last 10 bars, you can do that just by changing this. Or you can just set it to 1, and then it will just find stocks that have just crossed over on this particular bar. By default, this is set to 2, so it will find stocks that have crossed over either on the current bar or on the previous bar. So you can change all that and apply those settings. Settings can be saved just by resaving the scan here. You can also save different presets by changing the name slightly, preset 1 or whatever you want, and saving those for easy access later when you come back here to load your scan. You can find different presets that you've saved. I have some basic, like price and average volume filters added in here. These can obviously be changed to whatever you want. You can set the minimum stock price to $3 or $5 or $10 or whatever you want. Maximum stock price, average volume over the 50 days, 50-day average volume of 1 million or 50-day average volume of 500,000, whatever you want to set it to. And that's the average daily volume is what it's set to currently. But you can add and remove any type of filter you want here in addition. This is the main important filter that you need to keep there for the stochastic scan logic. And that line is the only one that's really important here. These are just the some basic filters that I added in there because most people will need something like that. So I have two different scans, one for crossing above the oversold line, one for crossing below the overbought line. And then I also have created a watch list column, two watch list columns, one for the multiple time frame stochastic and one for the daily stochastic. And the only difference here with the daily is that it paints, so ThinkOrSwim comes with a daily stochastic value column already, but I've customized it a little bit so it'll color code based on whether the K line is above or below the D line. So if the K line is above the D line, then we've got it paints green, and if it's below the D line, then it paints red. And the same thing with the multiple time frame stochastic. Whatever you set this to, you can change the aggregation period to whatever period you want here, and so you can customize the what this column is reflecting, what stochastic this is, whether it's the monthly stochastic or weekly or daily or whatever. And it will paint green if the K line is above the D line and red if the K line is below the D line. So what this is useful for is you can find a daily pullback in this red here. The daily stochastic is pulling back, whereas the weekly stochastic is in an uptrend. So that might be, theoretically, that might be a good, a good long-term trend with a short-term pullback. So that might be an ideal buy. So those are two columns that are included with this package: the two scans and the two indicators. The one for the upper study, Paintbars, and the lower study for the multiple time frame stochastic. So that's how it all works. If you have any questions, leave us a comment below or send us an email on the website, ThinkOrSwim.net. This will be posted in the next few hours here, so let us know what you think. And I appreciate you checking it out. Thanks. Bye.